You don't attract thoughts by chasing them. You become someone worth remembering by becoming someone worth becoming. Now, let me say this, you don't get remembered because you shout louder or show off more. You get remembered because your presence meant something, and presence, well, that's not bought, that's built. You build it through discipline. Through the quiet things no one sees, rising early, staying consistent, showing up sharp. Not for the applause, but because excellence is your standard. You walk in the room and people feel something. Not because you're loud, but because your life speaks. Let me ask you something. What do people feel when they think of you? That answer is your brand. That's your silent echo, your character, your energy, your vision. See, people don't remember noise, they remember impact, and impact is made by the one who moves with purpose. You want to be unforgettable, then don't be average. Don't be part of the background. Set your goals higher, read more, say less. Listen better, be uncommon in your habits. When you walk with direction, people notice. When you live with integrity, people trust. When you grow consistently, people remember. And here's the secret, the most magnetic people aren't trying to be magnetic. They're just aligned with something bigger than themselves. They stand for something. They carry a vision. They radiate clarity, confidence, and calm. Work on your values, polish your words, sharpen your skills, get clear on your mission, and then show up with excellence wherever you go. Because when you're truly focused on becoming the best version of yourself, you don't have to beg to be remembered. People will remember you anyway. Don't chase attention, build presence through character. Attention fades. It's loud, it's flashy, but it never lasts. One moment you're seen, the next you're forgotten. Because attention is surface, level. It doesn't reach the soul. It doesn't anchor you in anyone's memory for the right reasons. Presence, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't demand, it doesn't beg. It's simply asterisk is asterisk, and it's felt long after you've left the room. When your presence is built on character, you don't have to seek validation. You become someone people respect, not just notice. You walk differently, not because of pride, but because of peace. You speak differently, not because you're trying to impress, but because your words carry weight. And that weight comes from truth, from discipline, from who you are when no one is watching. See, presence isn't a performance. It's the result of what you practice every single day. It's forged in silence, in sacrifice, in choosing growth over comfort, in doing the right thing when no one claps for you. People can spot real character. They might not always say it, but they feel it, and they remember it. Not because you tried to stand out, but because you refused to blend in. In a world obsessed with being seen, be someone who's worth remembering. Not for how loud you were, but for how solid you were. Not for how much you talked, but for how deeply you lived. When you build character, your presence becomes undeniable. You carry an energy that doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. Not with force, but with substance. Not with style, but with soul. So don't chase the spotlight. Stand still and sharpen your core, and watch how the right kind of light finds you. Because when you build yourself from the inside out, you no longer need attention to feel worthy. You know your worth, and the world senses it. Be remembered for the impact you make, not the noise you create. Noise is easy. Anyone can be loud. Anyone can demand attention, stir drama, or chase the spotlight. But noise fades. It doesn't last. It entertains for a moment and then disappears, forgotten in the echo of the next distraction. Impact, though impact is different. Impact lasts. It lingers in someone's life. It speaks even when you're gone. It's not measured in how many people look at you. It's measured in how many lives you quietly shift. The world is full of noise. Endless talking, endless scrolling, endless performing. But true influence doesn't come from how loud you are. It comes from the depth of your presence, the weight of your words, the strength of your actions. You want to be remembered. Then stop trying to impress and start trying to affect. Affect someone's mindset. Affect their day. affect how they think about themselves after you leave the room. That's what creates legacy, not volume, but value. The ones who truly stay in our hearts aren't always the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who made us feel something real. The ones who listened when we needed silence. The ones who acted with integrity when no one was watching. The ones who led not with noise, but with example. Every day you have a choice, to seek applause or to build meaning, to echo in the crowd or to plant something deeper. Because noise distracts, but impact transforms. Don't waste your energy trying to be everywhere. Be somewhere and be real. Don't try to impress everyone. Impress one person deeply through truth, through consistency, through heart, and that will echo farther than noise ever could. Live your life like it matters. Speak like your words carry consequences. Move like your actions affect the next generation, because they do, because you do. Impact is built quietly, day by day, in the unseen hours, in the disciplined decisions, in the moments you choose growth over ego. So when people remember you, let it not be because you made the most noise. Let it be because your presence made them better, because your example gave them something to hold on to, because you lived in a way that echoed long after the moment passed. Live with discipline, direction, and consistency that builds presence. Presence isn't just how you enter a room. It's how you carry yourself every day, even when no one's watching. It's built in the quiet hours. In the early mornings when you rise while others sleep. In the late nights when you choose purpose over comfort. Discipline is where it begins. Not the kind that punishes, but the kind that refines. The kind that reminds you who you are and who you're becoming. Discipline is the agreement you make with yourself that no matter how you feel, you will show up. Show up focused, show up sharp, show up ready. Then comes direction, because energy without aim is wasted. You can work hard, hustle nonstop, and still be lost. But when you live with direction, every step matters. You stop reacting and start leading. You're not pulled by distraction, you're moved by vision. Your days have shape, your time has purpose, and your life begins to take form. But even discipline and direction aren't enough without consistency. Consistency is the proof. It's what turns sparks into flames. It's what separates the ones who dream from the ones who build. Anyone can be focused for a day, but presence is earned over time, brick by brick, day by day, doing the hard things again and again. People feel that. They feel the steadiness in your steps. They see the commitment in your habits, and they respect the strength in your silence. Presence isn't loud. It's not showy. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It arrives fully formed, shaped by hours of invisible work. When you walk with discipline, people notice. When you move with direction, people listen. When you stay consistent, people trust. Not because you said something impressive, but because you lived something real. And that's what lasts. That's what draws people in without you trying. Not the noise, not the drama, but the quiet force of someone who knows exactly who they are, where they're going, and what they stand for. So build your presence through how you live. Build it through the choices no one sees, through the work you put in when no one's clapping, and through the way you hold yourself when no one's watching. That's where it begins, and that's where it lasts. Your habits determine your memorability. Excellence is magnetic. People don't remember the flashes, they remember the patterns. Not the moment you showed off, but the way you consistently carried yourself. Because over time, your habits form your reputation, and your reputation becomes your presence in people's minds. The world notices excellence. It doesn't need an introduction. It shows itself in the small things, in how you speak, how you listen, how you prepare, in how you follow through when others quit, in how you do the ordinary with uncommon intention. Excellence isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing better daily. It's about caring when no one else does. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard, even when nobody's clapping for it. You want to be remembered, then make your habits unforgettable. Let your discipline speak louder than your words. Let your preparation be your message. Let your actions echo long after the moment ends. People don't remember laziness. They don't remember inconsistency, because that's expected. That's common. But when you're excellent, when you live with precision, purpose, and pride, you break the pattern. You stand out, you stay on their mind. Excellence is rare. That's why it draws attention without asking for it. That's why it holds weight without raising its voice. You don't have to be flashy, just be consistent. You don't need a spotlight, just move with purpose. That's how you become memorable. Your daily habits write your story, and your story becomes the memory others hold of you. So if you live sloppy, you'll be forgotten quickly. But if you live sharply, intentionally, powerfully, people will feel your presence even in your absence. Excellence doesn't come by accident. It's built in the small choices, the choice to push a little harder, to be a little kinder, to show up 5 minutes early, to finish what you started, to do it right, even if no one will ever see. When you start stacking those habits, you start shaping something magnetic. And people feel it, they trust it, they respect it, and most of all, they remember it. Because in a world full of shortcuts and noise, excellence is a whisper that speaks louder than the loudest voice. It's a signal of intention, a sign of mastery, and a reflection of who you are beneath the surface. So guard your habits, refine them, protect them like your legacy depends on them, because it does. You attract people by aligning with a greater purpose, not by trying to impress. Impressing is shallow, it's temporary. It depends on approval, on reactions, on being seen. And the problem with trying to impress is this: it's never enough. You always need another moment, another show, another round of applause. But purpose is different. Purpose doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't seek permission. It doesn't beg for validation. It simply exists solid, steady, unshakable. When you live with purpose, people feel it. They don't just see what you do, they sense why you do it. Your energy shifts, your focus sharpens, your presence deepens, and that draws people in, not because you're performing, but because you're grounded. You're anchored in something real, something bigger than yourself. The most attractive energy is certainty, not arrogance, but clarity. Clarity about your path, clarity about your values, clarity about what matters and what doesn't. When your life has direction, people notice. When you stop chasing attention and start chasing meaning, you become rare. And in that rarity, you become magnetic. Trying to impress drains you. It keeps you in a cycle of constantly needing to be liked. But living with purpose fills you. It gives you peace in silence, confidence in simplicity. The truth is, the ones who move the world forward aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones quietly aligned with something timeless. With growth, with vision, with impact, you don't have to wear purpose like a badge. You live it in your choices, in how you show up, in what you tolerate, in what you pursue when no one's clapping for you. People are drawn to those who know who they are, who know what they stand for, who don't bend with the crowd just to be noticed. Because in a world full of performers, authenticity stands out like a light in the dark. So let others chase the applause. You chase the reason. Let others impress. You align. Let your work speak. Let your integrity speak louder than your image. Because when you live from purpose, you don't need to convince anyone to notice you. They feel it, they remember it, and they follow not because you demanded attention, but because you inspired trust. Confidence, calm, and clarity are unforgettable traits. They don't shout, they don't need to. They walk into a room quietly, and yet somehow they change the atmosphere. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about being better than others. It's about knowing who you are, what you bring, and walking with that truth, no matter who's watching. Confidence is quiet strength. It doesn't demand approval. It doesn't crumble under pressure. It stands steady in moments where others shake, not because it has all the answers, but because it trusts the foundation it was built on. Then comes calm, a rare presence in a chaotic world. When everything around you is loud, fast, and reactive, calm becomes power. Calm doesn't mean passive. It means in control of your emotions. Your reactions, your energy. Calm is felt before it's seen. It slows the room, it makes space. It shows people that pressure doesn't move you, purpose does. And clarity is your compass. When you know where you're going, when your mind is free from noise, when your values are clear, you become unstoppable. Clarity makes your decisions sharper. It removes the need to impress. It strips away the distractions and centers you on what matters. When you combine all three, confidence, calm, and clarity, you carry a presence that speaks without words. People lean in, they feel safe around you, they feel challenged around you, they remember you. Because you're not scattered, you're not chasing, you're not pretending. You're asterisk, they're asterisk, fully present, fully grounded, and presence like that is rare. It doesn't beg for attention. It earns respect. It creates impact. You want to leave a lasting impression. Don't rush to prove anything. Just walk with confidence that's rooted in self-respect. Move with calm that's built through discipline. Speak with clarity that's born from knowing your path. People may forget your words. They may forget what you wore or even what you did. But they won't forget how it felt to be in the presence of someone who carried themselves with quiet power, confidence. Calm, clarity, three traits that don't just get noticed, they get remembered. Show up sharp physically, mentally, and emotionally, because how you show up tells the world how seriously you take yourself. It speaks before you say a word. It reflects your standards, your preparation, your mindset. Physically sharp means you respect your vessel. You take care of your body. You carry yourself with strength, with purpose. You walk like someone who's ready for whatever the day demands. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. It's about showing you've made the effort to be your best, not just for others, but for you. Mentally sharp means you're present, you're focused, you're not drifting through the moment, you're in it. You've done your thinking. You've trained your mind. You've filled it with clarity, with structure, with purpose. You respond, not react. You see patterns. You stay aware. And in a world full of noise, your focus becomes a weapon. Emotionally sharp means you're grounded. You know how to manage your energy. You don't let mood dictate your message. You don't let pressure break your composure. You remain steady in the storm, because you've learned to lead yourself before trying to lead anything else. To show up sharp is to show up ready, not just dressed well, but thinking well. Not just prepared to be seen, but prepared to serve, prepared to contribute something meaningful. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional, because intention creates presence, and presence creates influence. People feel when someone sharp walks in. They pay attention without knowing why, because excellence carries its own gravity. And sharpness, real sharpness, commands quiet respect. But sharpness isn't built in the moment. It's built long before, in the habits you keep, in the books you read, in the conversations you choose, in the way you rest, recover, and reset. Every time you step into the world, you're leaving an impression. So ask yourself, what message are you sending? Are you moving with purpose or just passing through? Are you showing up half, ready half, present, or are you walking in like the moment matters, because it does? Every room you enter is a reflection of your preparation. Every word you speak is shaped by the work you've done in silence. And every impression you leave is a mirror of your sharpness. So show up sharp. Not once, but always, physically ready, mentally focused, emotionally stable. That's not just how you lead. That's how you last. Read more, speak less, and listen deeply. That's how you connect. Real connection isn't built by filling the space with noise. It's built by bringing value into the space. And value doesn't come from opinion alone. It comes from knowledge, from understanding, from depth. Reading gives you that depth. It stretches your thinking. It sharpens your language. It exposes you to ideas, emotions, and wisdom that time alone can't teach. It allows you to understand not just the world, but yourself. When you read more, you begin to recognize patterns in people. You learn how history repeats. You learn how emotions work. You learn what moves people, what matters to them, and what they often leave unsaid. Books give you insight, and insight makes your words carry weight. Because when you speak from understanding, people listen differently. But the key is speak less. Not because your voice doesn't matter, but because your voice gains strength when you use it wisely. Don't speak to fill silence. Speak to add meaning. Let your words be few, but powerful. Let them come from a place of intention, not insecurity. Because silence, when chosen wisely, holds more power than empty words ever could. And while you speak less, listen more, not just with your ears, with your presence, with your eyes, with your attention, because most people aren't truly heard. They're waiting for someone who will actually listen, not interrupt, not fix, but simply hear them. To listen deeply is to say you matter, you're safe here, you're being seen. Listening deeply builds trust. It opens doors that force never could. It shows people that you care more about understanding than controlling. And that kind of presence, it's unforgettable. Read more. Expand your mind. Feed your soul. Because the more you know, the more you grow. And when you grow, you have more to give. Speak less, so that when you do speak, it means something. Let your words be backed by experience, shaped by reflection, and guided by wisdom. Listen deeply, because every person carries a story, a truth, a wound, a lesson. And if you're willing to listen, you just might hear something that changes you too. That's how you connect, not by trying to impress, not by dominating the conversation, but by showing up as a student first, a student of life, a student of people, a student of the moment. Read more. Speak less, listen deeply. That's not just how you connect, that's how you lead. Build your value daily, and you'll be remembered without asking. Because the people who are remembered most are not always the loudest, not always the most visible, but often the most valuable. Value is not something you claim. It's something you prove in the way you show up, in the way you think, in the way you serve, and in the way you live even when no one's watching. You don't become valuable by chance. You become valuable by intention, by committing to the process, by choosing growth every day, even when it's slow, even when it's hard, even when no one claps for it. Build your value in the quiet, in the hours before the world wakes, in the practice that no one sees, in the mindset that says, I can be better than I was yesterday. Value is built through effort, through reading more, through learning more, through refining your craft, through improving your discipline, through mastering yourself before trying to manage anything else. When you build your value daily, you stop needing permission. You stop chasing validation because you carry something real. You walk with substance, and that substance leaves a mark. People remember those who helped them think clearer, who showed up strong, who stayed consistent, who made moments feel more meaningful. You don't have to remind anyone of your worth when your work already speaks. The key is don't wait for recognition. Let your motivation come from within. Do the work because it makes you sharper. Sharpen yourself because it makes you stronger. Get stronger because it makes you useful. And when you're useful, you're valuable. And when you're valuable, people don't forget you. They remember how you made them feel. They remember what you contributed. They remember how your energy made theirs rise. So keep building, keep showing up, not for the applause, but for the growth, not for the spotlight, but for the roots you're planting beneath the surface. You don't need to announce your value. You just need to become it. And when you do, the world responds in its own time. Respect comes, opportunity comes, connection comes, and all of it without asking. Being unforgettable starts with becoming someone worth remembering. You see, people don't remember what you say or do in fleeting moments. They remember who you were in those moments, your character. Your values, your consistency, the quiet strength behind your actions. To be unforgettable, you must first build yourself from the inside out. It begins with knowing who you are, not just your name or your title, but your core beliefs. Your principles, what you stand for when no one is watching. It's easy to try to be unforgettable by chasing fame or attention, but those things are temporary. They're like shadows in the wind, here one moment, gone the next. True memorability comes from substance, from depth, from the way you make people feel long after you've left. Becoming someone worth remembering means showing up with integrity, doing what you say you will do. Even when it's hard, even when no one's applauding, it means living with discipline, choosing growth over comfort, courage over fear, action over excuses. It also means treating others with kindness and respect. Because being unforgettable isn't just about you. It's about the impact you have on the people around you, how you lift them up, how you listen when they need to be heard, how you inspire them to be better versions of themselves. When you commit to becoming someone worth remembering, you stop caring about being liked by everyone. You start caring about being real. Authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in without effort. It creates connections that last. You build your legacy one choice at a time. In the daily decisions to be honest, to work hard, to stay humble. You build it by learning from mistakes, by forgiving yourself and others, by always reaching for more, not to impress, but to improve. Remember, no one is born unforgettable. It is earned, it is crafted, like a masterpiece shaped over time with patience and care. So focus on who you are becoming. Focus on your character, your habits, your values. Invest in yourself every day, read more, listen more, grow more, because when you become someone worth remembering, being unforgettable becomes a natural byproduct. People won't have to try to remember you. They will without even thinking, because your life will have touched theirs in a way they can't forget. And so, the journey to being unforgettable is not a quest for fame, but a commitment to becoming your best self. Remember, the most lasting impressions are made quietly, through consistent character and genuine care. Live with intention, grow with purpose, and in doing so, you'll find that being unforgettable isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally become.